I wasn't someone that actually thought about going into management. While I was playing, I'm very much a here and now sort of person. I always focused on my playing career. I knew that was the natural progression to become a coach or a manager, but it wasn't something that I was craving at the time. I decided I was going to call it a day, literally from the playing side. In the pre-season of, what would it have been now, 21? It might have been after that, it might have even been 22. And as I started playing or training, trying to get fit for that upcoming season, I realised that the playing side was done. I loved the game, I love playing football. I still do now. If I'm allowed to join in training, I'll be the first one to jump in and grab a bib. But you got to realise when it's time, and I'm quite happy that I was able to pick. I wasn't put on a stretcher or wheeled out and I wouldn't be able to move again. I was happy that I was able to make the choice of stop playing. So that season obviously started at St Albans with me as player coach. Within 3 months, the manager had been sacked and I was asked to take over as interim, and that was the start of the journey. It's a totally different feeling, match days, being a player and being a manager. I look back on my career and there's been certain times and certain huge games that I've played in I'll never forget. At Bristol City, we was in League One and it was the last day of the season. We had to win to be promoted. We was playing Rotherham, who was already relegated or virtually relegated. We needed to win to get promoted. Gary Johnson I don't know how legit it was at the time, but these little dots that you put on your hand. So before the game, we're all sitting in the changing rooms and these dots were meant to, by changing colour, they would show you what mood or your heart or how you were feeling as a player. And he obviously had written on the board, he'd written, for instance, if it was black, you was asleep, virtually asleep, not you were too far gone the other way. And if it was red or any colour in between, red, you was too nervous or too excited. So everybody's put these dots on, wondering what sort of colour you want it to go, because you know how Gary's going to react. And he would go round and ask everyone what colour they were, and when I had looked at mine, it had been on there for a certain time, it was black. which as he had described it, you're too relaxed, you're too far gone the other way. He didn't want you too hyped up. But that was me as a player. I played the same way. Very relaxed, not nervous at all. As a manager, as I say, it is a totally different experience. I'll never forget my first game in charge of St Albans. It was, and I'm still like it to this day. I think it's the pressure I put on myself. I want to do so well for myself and for my club and for my players and for everyone involved with the club that it's night and day from how I was as a player to a manager. And as I say, the first game, I think it was Cheshunt in the Hearts Senior Cup or the Hearts Charity Cup, which is a game that shouldn't have meant too much. And I walked out onto the side and I couldn't remember another football game where I'd been so nervous. And that lasted for 90 minutes. So I think we scored and we won 1-0 after 85, 87 minutes, and it weren't until I realised 90, 91 minutes that we were going to win the game did the nerves ease. But I'm exactly the same to this day. As I say, how well I want to do for everyone involved, I feel it and I carry it. I think my style on the sideline and around the pitch on match days is, I don't think it can be forced. I think I am who I am. I'm going to manage how I manage. I played how I played. I'm not a screamer and a shouter. I don't really think it changes much. I've always thought that. On the pitch, I was very vocal, but with my teammates, with the referee, encouragement, accountability at times, or I'd always get on the ref's back. That was something that I noticed as I'd become a manager. They said referees that I'd had previously realised I was a lot quieter as a manager. I've got my assistant Neil Bamfield and the other coach Sam Cox. Going back to Neil, he was my first ever manager in full-time football. When I joined Arsenal as a YT at the time on the YTS scheme. Sam Cox is a coach who's been at Tottenham in the academy for years and someone I'd known since I joined St Albans, and first of all in the National South playing against him. He was at Wealdstone. And then we've played against each other a few times since. We'd actually spoke in the summer and at the start of this season about him maybe coming to St Albans, which was something I was very keen to do, but his Tottenham responsibilities got in the way. But he's someone I respected as a player and certainly respect him as a coach as he's very good. So together I think the three of us cover most bases. You got Neil, who's been in the game for 40, 50 years as a player and as a coach and as a manager and as an assistant under Arsene Wenger to start with, and Michael Beale at some massive clubs, Arsenal, Glasgow Rangers, Queen's Park Rangers and everything in between. And the most important thing I think is the three of us love football, very passionate about the game. Everything we do is around the game. We eat, sleep and drink it, if you like, for a cliche. But I think you put any football people in a room and you're going to find things in common, and the love for the game is definitely one that brings us together. Why Wealdstone? It wasn't an easy decision. I sort of think it was in the end, but where I was so comfortable and liked it so much at St Albans, it was going to take a lot to get me away. When you sit down and really sum up where the club is, Wealdstone, and the support it has, where it sits in the football table and the plans for the future, it became an easy decision. I knew about the club. Obviously I'd played against them previously. I knew the previous manager. I'd had a couple of dealings with him this season, with Rory and with Stuart, and two great people. From previously playing against the Wealdstone fans, it was easy to tell that the passion they've got for their team. I think one of my very first seasons at St Albans was the year Wealdstone got promoted. We played them at the Vale. I think they beat us 2-3, or it might have even been 4-1 coming up towards the end of the season as they were marching on for the title, and it's something that I never forgot. I remembered. And then even my first few games as manager of Wealdstone, I've seen the passion firsthand. That they've been there in their numbers. We obviously got the great result at Barnet. They come out in their numbers and supported the team. And we've had the derby with Hendon in the FA Trophy last 16. Obviously the tie was put back 3 or 4 times and then switched to Hendon. It was still our home tie, and you could feel it. The hundreds that turned out to support us. They're going to be vital. They're going to be vital this season to help us get to where we want to go to, and their support will be massive. As a coaching staff, we're obviously got our own ideas, as any coaching staff, as any manager, any coach around the country will have. I do see football the same way as the previous staff that was there, Stewie and Matty. They like to play football on the floor, as do I, as does Neil, as does Sam. But I feel any team that has a new manager or has a new coach, it's going to take a little bit of time for the ideas to come across. we're not ripping up what's been done before, but there is going to be slight tweaks, and it is going to have our style on it. And as difficult as that is mid-season, it's not going to happen instantly. And recently, I think there's been signs that the players are getting it. In possession and out of possession recently has been a lot better. We want to create chances first and foremost. Without them, you're not going to score goals. You've got to get the ball in good areas in the pitch, in the opposition's final third, and have crosses, have shots, have bodies in the box. You're basically a gambler if you're playing long ball football. You can't set up patterns or set up routines or work on creating chances if you don't know where the ball's going to drop. Is how I see it. You want to get the ball into areas, yes, with possession, but into good areas repeatedly that you can work and create chances and create goal scoring opportunities. We want the crowd engaged, and there's nothing more that gets the crowd on your side or gets them out their seat than scoring goals or creating chances.